Hi, good afternoon. This is Kevin Ferry from Marketing Murmurs. This is episode 7. Um, Short one this week. Just wanted to touch upon e-commerce. And we all know the importance of e-commerce. But what was really interesting for me this week was seeing some of the stats for Alibaba. For those who don't know, which you should do if you work in our business, Alibaba is the equivalent of Chinese version of Amazon. And it was really interesting that on Singles Day, which they introduced in China, which is basically just a kind of market employ just to get people to spend kind of online. But what was really interesting, it's very similar to kind of Black Friday in America. But on Singles Day, Alibaba actual sales revenue was $25.3 billion. As in 25.3 billion, not million, billion. And that's a 40% increase from last year's numbers. It doesn't include all the purchases from special promotional events for Singles Day that began earlier that week, etc., etc. It is just incredible how big that is, and the revenue and the infrastructure, everything behind that. And it's not just an e-commerce platform, it's a whole massive experience around that, which I find really interesting. But just to give you some idea on the kind of numbers and the kind of figures and timescale of that, was the e-commerce platform hit in 13 hours $18 billion during that Saturday event of Singles Day. So that's 13 hours. It racked up $18 billion worth of sales in retail, which is just, you can't even begin to tell about that. It's just crazy. And if you put that again into perspective, the US sales on Thanksgiving to Cyber Monday only made 12.8 billion last year. So the figures compared to Alibaba are kind of nowhere near, can't even touch it. So it's just incredible the amount of revenue which is spent in such a short space of time on those e-commerce platforms. And it just shows you how big in scale Alibaba is compared to all the others out there, the likes of Amazon, etc., eBay, whatever. Just huge. On a smaller scale in the UK, we're not even scratching the surface from e-commerce platform sites, from local retails to FMCG brands, etc., electronic brands. Their sites are pretty poor, and the infrastructure and the interaction is pretty cruddy. We've got a long way to go, I think, and I also feel we kind of need to all sit around the table as marketeers and think about that end-to-end user experience, for whatever you want to call it. I call it pixel to purchase. Very important, and it seems to be at miss. Some sites are a good experience, but overall they have breaks, as I call them, which isn't great. And I think before you get all your marketing plans and do all your kind of social media and you're pushing to the sites and the websites and we're so cool and all this stuff, I think you have to get the basics right. And it's very boring, but it's a bit like decorating. You have to do all the prep work beforehand and make sure that it's all kind of prepped correctly before you do all the kind of nice pretty picture stuff and painting, etc., around marketing. I think we have to get those infrastructures in place with our clients better, and I think A lot of agency folk talk about it, a lot of clients talk about it, but no one really seems to be being able to pull it together. But I just wanted to share that observation, and also share the Alibaba case study around there's somebody who's really cracking it big time when you look at those types of figures. So just wanted to put that out there around e-commerce. Absolutely vital, and it's the starting point for me around that end-to-end experience. So we need to consider that first and foremost. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.